So I had a member reach out to me the other day and said, "Hey, Mark, have you seen this strategy? This guy's getting incredible results. So here's the link." Okay, so I clicked on the link. I went over to the YouTube video and I watched it. It was about 25 minutes long, something like that. And he was winning every trade. It didn't look like he edited the video, so I don't think he was doing any like fancy dancy editing and trying to fool you and all that stuff. You know, on my channel, we don't really edit a lot of the videos. We just kind of let it roll unless I stumble over my words, which I do that a lot on YouTube. And so just so you're not confused, I will edit the video. But most of the videos that we do here, they go pretty long, like almost up to an hour. The longest video I've had on my channel is 2 hours long. But there's a strategy out there. It's called the RSI divergence. The RSI divergence strategy. And it sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just apply one indicator to your chart and then watch and wait for the RSI to bounce off of the upper level of the RSI or the lower level of the RSI. It must touch the bottom or the top more than twice, and then you guys will look for an entry. So that's what we're going to do on this video. So instead of talking about it, let's go ahead and jump in here and really see if it works. Now, I'm using a real account inside of Pocket Option. And all right, so I'm using a real account with a strategy that I haven't really practiced with that much. So that's a little bit risky for me. So when I'm using a real account, and that's what I always like to do. If you guys, by the way, my name's Mark. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. When I'm practicing real or new strategies on Pocket Option, I don't really use the demo account because I like the feel of using real money. But that's just me. And if I'm using a real account on a brand new strategy, I will trade with a very small amount, maybe even just like $1 or something like that. So, but on demo, I just don't have that emotional connection with the money. It's more careless trading. Now, I highly recommend demo for you guys if you're just starting out. So don't do what I do. This is just my opinion. This is just something that I choose to do. But when I'm testing out a new strategy, right? I'll have minimal funds. I'm not going to put a bunch of money into it. But I will use a money management system because this will help me if the strategy does not work, I can still come out in profit. And the money management system that I use, most of you know, is the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager. This is a highly advanced trade manager with a mathematical algorithm that allows you to win even if you have losses. So this is not martingale. This is, martingale, you lose 5 times and that's it. You're out of the game. That's not what this is. This is something different. There's actually an algorithm in place and it gives you the exact trade amounts to enter based on the capital that you have inside of your broker. Okay, really straightforward, guys. You can set the risk levels and I have done that right here. I've taken my balance inside a Pocket Option, which is $525. I've taken that over here to the trade manager and have entered that in. $525. I must win 2 out of 12 trades. We got the payout at 92%, which means that we need to choose pairs or assets or whatever you want to call it. We need to choose ones that have a 92% payout, at least 90 or higher. Okay, and you guys should be good to go. Now, the trade manager gives me the first trade amount, so we're going to go ahead and enter $1, right? So that's what we're starting with. $1, guys. I mean, that's the smallest amount that you can trade inside a Pocket Option. It won't let you go any lower than that. So let's just trade with the smallest amount as possible, right? Especially when you're trying a new strategy. So I'm just going to go through and through here. We're going to just let the camera roll. We're going to let the video roll and practice this strategy. But before that, let me show you how to set this up. So regular candlesticks, guys, over here on the chart type, regular candlesticks, and you're going to want to use the time frame, which is on M1, which means 1 minute. Okay. And so once you have all that set up, then over here on the expiry, you will also want to set this to 1 minute as well. You can just click on M1 if you want to, and that'll just immediately set that to 1 minute. Make sure that you do have the trade amount limit turned on. Guys, I can't tell you how many times that there have been members that did not have this turned on, and instead of $1, they entered $100. Okay, not a good day, and they didn't win the trade. Now, sometimes you guys win. You know, you accidentally put in $1,000 and you win. I mean, God bless, right? But what if it was a loss? Yeah, that'd be kind of a bummer. That'd be a big bummer, guys. So now let's go over here, and if you want to make sure that this is turned on or available to you, or if you don't see this feature, here's what you do. You come over here inside a pocket option at the top left of the chart. You're going to find a little gear icon right here. Go ahead and click on that. And up here where it says trading mode, right here, you're going to find a little switch. It's going to be called trade amount limit. So this might be turned off by default. So you may not see that, but turn it on right here, close the window. And when you do that, you're going to see this little shield, right? And I think it's cool that it looks like a shield. So like kind of like protection. It's like a protection shield for you. So go ahead and click on that and make sure that this is turned on, and you know it's on because this shield icon right here is solid. So if it's just a solid color, then you know it's on. You don't have to keep going in here and checking it. You can look at it at a glance and see if it's turned on or not. Really, really easy. Okay, I know you guys want to go and dive in and start doing this strategy and everything. Let's go ahead and do that. So the only indicator that you're going to want to apply to the chart is going to be the RSI. It's right here. So RSI, and just click on that. And once you do that, you're going to see it at the bottom of the chart down here. Now, mine might look a little bit different than yours. So I've done a few things here. If you look over here on the right, you're going to find a little arrow just to the right of that RSI. Look at that little arrow that goes up and down. And if you click on that, look how I can expand it or minimize it. I didn't even know this until after like a couple months using pocket options. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. But if you click on this little button here, it'll expand that so it's just a little bit easier to see. Now we need to make some, well, I don't even think we really need to make any big changes to the RSI, but just make sure that by default, or set this to 14 for the period. And I think that is the default settings. So if it's already on 14, then you guys can go ahead and skip the inputs and come over here to the styles tab, little styles button. So here's what I've done differently. Now I have all the settings for the default settings. There shouldn't be any changes that you're going to have to do to the 70 and the 50 and the 30. Okay, go ahead and leave those like they are. And the main line, all this stuff is the same over here on the left. But on the right, what I've done is I've changed these colors. Instead of 1 pixel, I've set the line width to 2 pixels, just so it's a little bit easier to see. And most of the time, you know, I'll do that just for the videos and stuff, so you guys can see a little bit better on the screen. But that's the only change that I've done. Okay, I didn't even change the colors. I just changed the pixel width. Okay, and you can see down here. All right, guys, so now, if you want to use OTC, you can. If you want to use over-the-counter markets, you're free to do that. If you guys want to use live markets over here, just keep in mind that you're going to have a little bit lower payout. Okay, so in other words, GBP CAD, 82% payout. You're only getting back 82% of whatever you put in the market or whatever you put into the trade. If you're trading with those lower payouts, then you need to come over to the trade manager and you need to adjust the payout percentage. So, you know, you can change this just to be safe. You can knock this down to 80%. But then look over here, your trade amount is less than $1. You can't trade with less than $1 inside a pocket option. You can see you get the little alert here with the red background, just alerting you and saying, hey, don't trade because you can't trade or you can't use these settings. So what you'll have to do is just knock down the total trades, just knock that down to 11. And then now you're over $1. So your first trade will be 110. So if you're using live markets, guys, just keep that in mind. You're going to have a little bit of a buffer with the payout. So all the math and the algorithm will respond to that and help you. And so you can stay in profit with your trading sessions. So keep that in mind. Hey, let's go ahead and add some favorites here. I'm going to just mark the little star icon to the left of these OTC pairs just to make them appear up at the top of pocket option inside of the interface up here at the very top. Let's make those show up there. And one more to fill the top of the screen. There we go. So you can see I have all these OTC pairs up here at the top of the screen. Okay, so a lot of you guys already know this, but now one thing that you guys should keep in mind is that I have new viewers to my YouTube channel all the time. There are a lot of people out there that have never used Pocket Option, or they have never seen one of my videos. So this is why I repeat things. But for those of you that are return visitors, appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your love and support. And, it's really made this channel what it is. So it gets me pumped up and excited and motivated to make videos every day. So really love you guys for that. Thank you. So let's go ahead and start this strategy now. We've got the RSI 14, and this is pretty much the default settings. That's it, guys. So, that's it. There's nothing else that you have to add to the chart. So all you guys are looking for is a double tap, right? It could be a triple tap, but where is that tap happening? So you've got this RSI, right? You've got this little oscillator down here, and it's the green line. You're waiting for this green line to approach or has already approached the highest point of the RSI, which would be the 70%, or the lowest point of the RSI, which would be the 30% area. But it must have already tapped that area and then go back for a second tap. So 2 or more taps. If it's on its third tap, then great. You can enter the trade. Okay? It's same for the top, same for the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and go through here. I'm going to use the Shift and Tab keys on the keyboard. For those of you that don't know about the hotkeys, it's right over here. Click over here on the right where it says Hotkeys inside of Pocket Option. You're going to get this window that pops up on the screen, and you can activate or deactivate those hotkeys. And by holding down Shift and Tab, you can quickly browse through the different assets and the favorites that you have. So look how fast that is. Look at that. And I don't have to move my mouse away over here from the buy and sell buttons, but we're going to be really, really looking when you're flipping through the different assets and currency pairs. You really want to keep an eye on the RSI. So the chart itself, it's kind of important as well. You have support and resistance and stuff like that. But you really want to keep a close eye on the RSI when you're switching through the charts. Okay, look at this. It's already reached and went over this 70% line here at the very top of the RSI. Now, if this comes back down underneath the 70%, and then it goes back up to touch that 70% line again, then I might be thinking about taking a trade. Now, we're on the 1-minute chart, so it could take a little time for that to happen. So let's just keep browsing through, and you may have to, okay, right here. Look at this, guys. It's came up. It's touched that 70% line. Look at that, 70% over here. It's rejected off of that, but it looks like it's coming back up to that 70% line again. But look, it's not. It's coming back down a little bit. So you really want to make sure. Now the gentleman that made this or that came up with this strategy or whatever, he does not always wait until it touches the line. If it gets close, then he'll consider that a tap. Okay, so we're going to kind of take trades based on that as well. So it doesn't really have to touch exactly on the 70% line or down here on the 30% line. So I just want to let you guys know that because it may not touch that. But if we look closely here, and I wish I could, I'll just zoom in here a little bit for you guys so you can see this. But you could kind of use the wheel on the mouse, and you can, enlarge, zoom in and out of the chart. But look at that. I don't know, maybe if we would have taken a sell or something, we could have been in profit by now. These are 1-minute expiries. But it's going to be a little while before that comes back up to touch that 70% line or even get close to it anyway. So let's go ahead and just change the chart. We can come back to this. This is QARCNY OTC. So that already looks like it's on its way down. So it's going to take you just a little bit of time. You're going to have a little bit more patience with this, guys. Okay? So I just want you guys to really understand this strategy. And so, yeah, a lot of this is in the middle line here. Okay, so this has already crossed over the 70% line, right, at the top of the RSI. And it hasn't really came back down, though. It hasn't came back down from the 70% line because when it does, I want to see it go back up and tap it for a second time. When it taps it for a second time, I will then enter. I'm not going to fast forward through this and play a bunch of music in the background. I'm not going to do that for you guys. We're just going to go ahead and go through this real time. And okay, that looked interesting. But I think it was only like kind of like a single tap. Look at that. So it came down. And so our RSI divergence. So these divergences are happening all the time in the market, and we can trade on those. And this is nothing new, guys. Okay. Nobody owns a method. Okay. You can't copyright a method. You can't trademark a trading method. Nobody owns anything. A lot of the stuff that we talk about on this channel with binary options, a lot of these methods that they've been used for years in options, but not only that, Forex, futures, stocks. So traders are using, I mean, it's really hard to find like a new strategy that's never been seen before. So everything's already kind of been done. We have users that make things up, but we've been using the RSI and using that to our advantage as, an area of confluence, or also just an area of gaining signals and getting indicators and applying those to the chart to help us in deciding, where our entries should be. That's been going on for years. We've been using the RSI for a very, very long time. On this video, though, we're using that double tap. So hopefully we'll get something here soon because we've already been running the video here for quite some time. But it looks like, look at this. So it's coming down, and if that comes down, but then it goes back up, I may consider entering. You see that? You see how it's came down and now it looks like it's tapping that? And if it closes right near that 70% line, I may go ahead and enter, guys. I mean, I'm not 100% on that. I could probably get a better setup. Let's see where that closes. It's only came down just a tiny, tiny bit. And let's see if it goes up a little bit more. Yeah, let's see if that RSI, that little oscillator there, goes up just a tiny bit more and touches that 70%. It looks like it's trying, but it's not really going back up that much. It's rejecting, though. You can see it's kind of going sideways here, kind of creating an order block there. But I can see it's kind of went up and it's touched it. I'm going to go ahead and sell. I should have waited for a little bit of a pullback, but I went ahead and sold on that, guys. So this is a 1 minute expiry. And so we got about 53 more seconds to go. A lot faster than some of the strategies that we were doing lately. Some of them are like 2 minutes long, and that's okay. So I guess I do more talking on those videos, and that's fine. But so why did we enter, right? So we came up and we crossed through the 70. So we basically tapped it once. The first tap is over here on the left, right? But we also came up and then we came down, and then it looked like it's coming back up to tap. It's not the clearest sign of a signal or entry. We're going to make some better entries here in just a moment, but I wanted to get some trades in for you guys. Look, this is going against us a little bit. If you look up here at the top, look at that. So it's going against us, guys. We got about 7 more seconds to go before this comes down. And whatever it is, when you're testing out strategies, always make sure to have some type of risk management in place. So I will just consider that a loss. And the next trade amount is 190. So let's go ahead and just enter that in. And let's go ahead and look for something a little bit better because I wasn't really entirely too happy with that. This looks pretty good right here. So you've got a tap over here. It came down and then you've got another tap, right? Now this was a tap that happened a little bit in the past. So I think those taps need to be a little bit closer together. If this line right here comes up to tap the 70 line again, okay, it's tapped it once here, but if it comes up to tap it again, like right, or at least very close to it, then I'll consider taking a sell. Okay, so if we're tapping on the bottom of the RSI, you're doing buys. If you're tapping at the top of the RSI, you're doing sells. So let's go ahead and continue here, and we can come back to this as well. Let's check the payout amounts. Everything looks good. This one, Euro Chef, is dropped down below 90%. I will go ahead and remove that. And also this Frank JPY has also dropped below 90%. I will go ahead and remove that. Let's go ahead and come back to this. Now, I want to show you guys right here, right where you see how it's gotten really close to that 70%. It's only like 64% or 63%, but then it comes down and then it goes back up. This one I will consider a sell. This one I will consider because it didn't quite reach the 70%, but it's around 63, 64%. And then it came down and then it went back to that 63% mark. Well, as soon as it goes back, I'm going to enter. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and wait this out, guys. Don't get all freaked out, if you're doing something right or wrong or whatever. Apparently, it doesn't matter what strategy that I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I always have you guys leave me comments and say that I'm doing something wrong, and that's just the way it is. I think no matter which strategy that I talk about, there's so many ways to do things. Looking at things in hindsight, if I'm not profitable, then it's pretty easy to look back and go, well, Mark, you didn't do it right, or this is not correct, or you didn't have this setting, or you were doing 1 minute, you weren't doing 2 minutes, and yada yada. So I get it, guys. You guys are trying to help, and I totally understand that. So we got about 2 more minutes to go, and it looks like this is resulting in a loss. So let's come back over here and let's just mark this as a loss. And 357 is the next trade amount. So you can see here that I'm getting these trade amounts for me. The trade manager is providing all this information for me, so I don't have to guess on what the trade amounts are. This will help us stay profitable and recoup and make up for those losses that we've had. We may have to make 2 wins. We may have to make only 1 win. So it just really depends where you are. But look at this. See, we've kind of tapped here, but it came down and rejected, but it's going up for a second tap. Now I want to see this candle close. Here's another thing. You want to see it close near the 70% area. So that's also a big one. You can't just jump in and take the trade. It's also got to close near that 70% mark as well. But it's touched back here, or it's came very close, and now it's going back up. So we had that dip and it's going back up. So now I want to see what this is going to do. We've got 14 more seconds to go. And if it reaches that 70% mark, then we can go ahead and enter a trade. So we got 5 more seconds to go, 3 more seconds. All right, we've closed. I went ahead and entered. 357, 1 minute expiry. Let's go ahead and wait this out, guys. Because if you look in the past, right, and it's easy to say that, looking back in hindsight, you can see like when the RSI is down, way down at the bottom, well, usually you'll find that there is a rejection, right? It's a little bit delayed. All the indicators have a delay. Okay, everything that you apply to your chart, there's some kind of delay involved. It's not right up to the last second. If it was, then everybody would win every trade. There would be no market. There would be no money in the market, right? But that's simply not the case. If you look back here, you can see that the RSI is down here at the bottom. But also look at the candlesticks are also dipping down. But as soon as the candlesticks go up, you can see the RSI start to reverse. Okay, let's look at, I can't talk today. Let's look and see what's happening here. We got about 4 more seconds to go on this trade. We've tapped it twice here. Good rejection. We've won that trade. Back over here on the trade manager. So what do we do if we have a win? We mark this as a win. And you can simply do that by just selecting W. That's it. Now, if the next trade amount based on your settings, if the next trade amount is under $1, so for me it's 76 cents and I can't trade with 76 cents inside a pocket option, it's not going to work. So in this case, I will just go ahead and click on reset. Okay, and it resets everything. I can update my balance. Let's go back into pocket option. So we're in profit, but very, very, very little in profit. How come? The reason is because we had 2 losses, right? And I only won 1 trade. But the most important thing to take away here is that if I didn't have some type of risk management in place, I would have been negative. So when you're practicing strategies for the very first time, would you rather lose money or break even? Right? Because you're going to eventually have a win. With the settings that I have, I only need a 17% win rate or better. That's why we have so many members inside of our private group having those consistent profits. They have ultra conservative settings. Now, some of you guys are a little bit riskier. You're coming in here and you're choosing like 8. It's 2 out of 8 trades, unless you have your strategy dialed in. I would be very careful about using these types of settings right here. And what that means is every 2 sessions that you do, you're going to be earning $25 out of only $500. Okay. Now that's with $500. You might be using more, you might be using less. It's all depending on your initial capital. So what I really want to just get away here is that just be very careful about your settings, especially if you're practicing a strategy for the very first time. Let's go back over here to Pocket Option and let's set everything up again and let's practice a few more trades. Let's go ahead and make a couple more entries. So I'm going to be just browsing around. I'm holding down Shift and Tab on the keyboard, browsing through the different favorited assets that I have up here. I will go ahead and remove some. And this is just the way that I like to do things, guys. You're free to do whatever you want. We've got a lot of traders, a lot of folks using Pocket Option that do not use the favorite feature. They just come in here on the menu and just click through the different, the highest paying out pairs. If that works best for you, then you can do that. Okay, that may avoid accidents trading with pairs that have a very low payout. It's totally up to you guys. Okay, there's no hard rules with all of this. Let's go ahead and just find something else here. Oh, this looks pretty good. We kind of missed the move, but you can see we came up and we touched that 70%. It was almost 70%. It was like 68%. That's close enough, guys. You don't have to be like right on 70%. But look, it's also came up again and it's rejected, came down, but it also came back up near that area and then rejected and came down again. It looked like it's coming down now. So, but again, that's looking at it in hindsight. We actually want to take trades in real time here. But on the 1 minute chart, things just move a lot slower. So guys, it may take time for you guys to find trades or to find entries or signals. That's just the way it is. We have a lot of strategies that are using only a 5-second expiry. And you're going to be able to get in and out of those trades much, much faster. That's why they call it the Fast 5, right? And you guys know I talk about that a lot on my YouTube channel because, that's my go-to, right? That's my go-to strategy. That's the one I've been using the most. And I have videos myself trading for 2 hours. If you look on my channel, you'll find a video that's 2 hours long, right? And we won after 2 hours. And I recorded and showed you every single trade over the course of 2 hours using the trade manager. This has already came down and touched or has been very close to touching the 30% on the lower side. So if you guys want to see some buys, we've only done sells so far. So if this comes down really close to that 30% line, I may consider taking a sell. So we've had a nice rejection here a little bit. We pulled back and now it looks like it may be coming down for another touch. But of course, yes, we're on the 1 minute. So each one of these candles represents 1 minute, guys. So we will have to wait a whole minute for that to either close or wait another minute for a new candle to appear, which that should be happening in 1 second. There is a new candle just appeared, another 57 seconds to see if this touches near that 30 line on the RSI. We're going to go ahead and wait on that. And so that's just coming down. I could switch the chart right now and then it'll probably do it and then I'll miss the move. So what do you guys want to do? You want to wait on this chart or do you want to just switch to a different chart? And that's just a decision you guys are going to have to make. It may be just easier just to limit yourself to only a handful of trading charts so it doesn't get overwhelming. But let's see here. What are the other charts doing? So CAD, JPY, OTC. Let's come back to this real quick. Let's check the other charts. You can see that a lot of the charts, I like this right here. Check this out. So it's touched up here on the 70% or near the 70%, has rejected, came down, and now it's going up for another tap. Look at that. Now that first tap happened a little bit in the past, but I like it. Let's go ahead and sell. We have $1 here that we've entered in. Let's go over here, back over to USD, what was it, CAD JPY, and see what this is doing. We've already taken a trade, so you don't want to take 2 trades at once. I would never do that with the trade manager. Now, if you're just trading flat fixed amounts inside a pocket option, $1 per trade regardless, then you guys can take more than 1 trade. Maybe look at 2 charts, take 2 trades. It's totally up to you, but let's see what happens here. So we got about 26 more seconds to go, and it keeps going up. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this already as a loss. It may not be a loss, but 190 is the next trade amount. And now we can really start to see that come up. So we've already touched that top of the RSI here. And if this closes, I'm going to go ahead and just take a sell. And because we've lost that first one, and I've entered an immediate second trade. Did you guys see that? So, and I've done that because, we've came very close, even almost tapping or coming close to tapping the 70% line on the RSI more than twice. This could be like a third time we're tapping that. Wow, really going against us pretty hard there, guys. So we're going to just have to be a little bit more patient with this and take our time. But this really kind of shows you the reality of trying out new strategies for the very first time, because you guys are going to get better at this. You're going to improve on your skills. The first time you do something, it's going to be really kind of bumpy, kind of rough. But the more you do it, the better you get. So you can't really judge a strategy by the first time doing it. And it's like that with everything. Okay, so 2 more seconds to go. Wow, that went really crazy against us. So let's go ahead and mark this as a loss. 357 is the next trade. Let's find something really meaty here, something really good. And a lot of these charts are right in the middle of the RSI. So let me go ahead and squeeze the chart down here a little bit so it's just a little bit easier. Really want to find something here that goes by this principle. This has reached up over the 70 mark. And if that comes back underneath the 70 mark, then I will consider entering again if it comes back up to touch it for a second time. But it looks like it's going to be a little while before it actually does that. Sorry guys, I don't want to lose my voice here. Sometimes I get talking too much. Depends how long these videos are. If they're 2 hours, I'll be talking for 2 hours. And so, yeah, in my age, it gets a little crazy. So I'm not complaining about my age or anything, guys. Come on. But, so let's just go ahead and watch this and trying to put on a good show for you guys. But, oh, wait, hold on a minute. CAD JPY. This is tapped down here a second time. Look really closely. 1 and 2. Look at that. 1, rejection, 2. Let's wait for a little bit of a pullback. Let's go ahead and buy. So this is our first buy trade on this video. And let's see if we get another rejection off of that or near that 30% line on the RSI. Hopefully we'll get another rejection there. Let's go ahead and sit tight. I was a little bit early on that entry. It would have been nice to have a little bit more pullback. But it looks like it's playing out the way it should. And so we've got about 36 more seconds. We are not in the clear. This could easily come back down and wipe us out. And if you guys have been trading with pocket option for any amount of time, if you start to see something go your way, it's not a time to get up and walk away from the screen or from the chart. These candlesticks move so fast, it could quickly go against you and come down and kick you out of the market. So just be aware of that. Always keep your eye on the chart at all times. Because, and it can be a little bit stressful at times, right? We got about 4 seconds to go and 1 more second. Okay, so we won that trade. And I just want to go over this one more time, guys. Why did we enter that? We were up. We were near the 50% line on the RSI, which is the middle point of the RSI. We came down and it looked like it got as close as it could. It didn't quite hit the 30%. But it was at like 36%. It rejected off of that very clearly, and it has came back to the exact same point. Let me go ahead and zoom in. So here's point number 1. Here's tap number 1. Here's tap number 2. I saw that tap number 2, and I went ahead and entered, and we got a little bit of a rejection there. So that's it, guys. That's the strategy. Okay. I want to make sure you guys understand, because I know when you watch a lot of these videos, sometimes you'll have to watch the video back 10 times before you understand what the guy's saying. And if you've been out on YouTube for any amount of time watching trading videos, you know what I'm talking about. It just really annoys me. It can be annoying, right? But for me, just by nature, I'm just the type of person that likes to make sure that, that I'm very clear, that I articulate everything very clearly so you guys can understand how things work. And it doesn't even matter what it is. It could be some other software. That's just the way I am, but that's important to me. And I hope you guys got this. We did have a win. So over here, we got a win. The next trade amount is underneath $1.76. Let's go ahead and reset that. We've done 2 sessions today, but we've had, I don't know, how many losses have we had? Let's go ahead and undo that. So we've had a total of so we've had 4 losses today, 4 losses, and only 2 wins. And we have still pretty much broke even. We're actually in profit. It's not much, but we didn't lose any money. And that's why I always mention the trade manager, because if you're trying something out for the very first time, have some type of money management. If you don't use the trade manager, you don't have to use it. But I do have a link down below. If you guys want to join us, you can get all my trading tools, all the cutting edge tools. And I have more spreadsheets than just the trade manager. I have the 30-day compounder. We have a daily trade tracker that you can use for binary options that a lot of our members use. And we have hours of exclusive video training for you about other strategies. We have member submissions from members that have found strategies that work for them, but they do not post this stuff publicly. They have privately shared their strategies only within the members area. And also we have over 1,200 active users right now. It's a positive environment. It's not a bunch of kids running around. We do have a small staff that takes care of things. But yeah, and you guys can go over there and look at all the screenshots. We have a lot of traders that were never profitable until now. A lot of guys in pocket option. Most of you are using pocket option, and you're seeing those consistent returns. Just had somebody reach out to me the other day. Actually, yesterday, reached out to me and said, "Hey, Mark, I started with $3,000, and in a week's time, I'm now up to $9,000." Right? It's stuff like that. It's like, wow. You guys send me your screenshots. I'll take that and I'll post it on here. I'll cover up your name and stuff like that. I'm not showing any names or anything. You guys send me your withdrawals, so I will post the withdrawals. Here's one $500 withdrawal. Here's a guy that went from $400 and compounded that up to over $2,000 in 30 days, just like he promised. And many, many screenshots of the pocket option back office showing you guys compounding your earnings over weeks and even over months. Look at that. So we have an incredible group, right? And this is just a one-time fee. It's not a subscription, only one time. You don't have to worry about having that fee come in every single month. And I know if it was me, I don't want to have to see that bill every single month come in. With something like this, I've got the price as low as I can get it. And I think it's very affordable, especially if you're out there, you're trading with pocket option, you're used to working with money and that sort of thing. We have members out there that have made back what they have spent on this information and on the trade manager within their first week. And guys, it's crazy to say, but they've even made the money back on their first day after joining the Wealth Warriors Alliance. So it's an incredible group. The live chat is just packed with people. We have a brand new room now. It's called the Strategy Vault. The Strategy Vault is a vault of all the strategies from our members, strategies that they have found that are working great, strategies that are proven to work that you'll never find on YouTube. Never find. I mean, some of them you might find, but most of them you'll never find. You'll only find them inside of the Wealth Warriors Alliance, which is that's what this is right here. So I will leave a link down below in the comments, also in the description of this video. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. We kind of went over a little bit longer on this video as we normally do, but wanted to just make sure that you guys know exactly how this works. I think it's decent. I think that it makes a lot of sense because a lot of times when you have that RSI, it taps that higher or lower area of the RSI. Usually that first tap doesn't work, but the second tap or the third tap usually turns out in a better result because this avoids fake outs and stuff like that. But there you go. Wish you all the best of success, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day. Take care.